Let's get it.
Thank you, Brendan. Yeah, so I'm from Philadelphia, so I talk funny. I do want to thank Brendan and the Irish American Writers and Artists organization for allowing me to present tonight. I am a new author, and to be in this beautiful facility, I really feel just honored and grateful. I'm not going to do a reading tonight only because my novel, my characters who I love dearly, I mean, I'd hang out with them in a minute, are a little rough around the edges. They might drop a few F notes. They probably spent some time doing pub crawls in the story. So I wasn't sure what the audience would be here tonight, so I thought I would talk about, instead of reading from my book, talk about why I wrote it and what I was thinking about with just a smattering of lines from the book. This book was inspired in part, and I should tell you, the book looks at what happens in a community when a priest is accused of abuse, and it's an Irish American community. The book was inspired in part by true events. In a Philadelphia suburb, a young man was accused a local priest of abuse. The priest attacked the young man in the press. The archdiocese lawyers attacked the young man in depositions for his spotty work record and past drug use. The people of the parish disparaged the man in the press and rallied around the priest. And soon after, the priest was reinstated, and the young man died by suicide. So I didn't know this young man, but I was horrified by his treatment, and I still hold him in my heart. Danny's Boys takes place in a tight-knit community in Northeast Philadelphia. Tommy, the narrator, describes the neighborhood as a concrete plaid of row houses, strip malls, churches, corner bars, accented with parks and rec centers. It's a place where everyone knows everyone. It works for storytelling because the relationships between neighbors are so much closer than in suburban neighborhoods. The characters are a group of young men, 20-somethings, blue-collar, Irish Americans who've gone through 12 years of Catholic school together. One newspaper reviewer said they're the kind of guys I'd like to hang out with in a local pub. They're earnest, funny, irreverent, genuine, and they always look out for each other. They have to, because I, as the author, put these lads through some trauma. I feel guilty about it, I really do. In Danny's Boys, I wanted to explore the range of responses by each character and within the community to the travesty of clergy abuse. There exists this continuum of reactions to clergy abuse. Everything from, I'm out of here, to la 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 la, right? And everything in between. Why is that? Why do we have this range of reactions? I think humans are anxious by nature. It's in our genes. We're squirrely. Religions have existed throughout the ages and throughout the world because in practice, they address our anxiety. Religious practices connect us with like-minded people. We get strength in numbers. They create calendars and rituals so we know what to expect. They give us inspiration and courage to do things we might not normally do because we have God on our side. They give us respite from life's traumas because we give our troubles over to God. And when we clear our minds to pray, that's like a form of meditation. We give our minds a break. All of these aspects are almost a perfect prescription for alleviating anxiety. Are there other things that do the same thing? Sure. Social media, well, the way it was intended to be. It provides connection, inspiration. Sports, I'm sure you all know a Jets fan. Drinking, provides connection, courage, rituals. All these things are out there, but they all have the potential to be controlling and bad for us. But boy, when religion works, it's really a beautiful spiritual thing. For Irish American Catholics, there's an additional bond in that religion ties us to our identity, our heritage, our family, and that's empowering. We have a connection to our ancestors who suffered and died for their Catholic faith. It's pretty much why most of us are here in the U.S. That's a tremendous pull. So what can my characters do when they can't escape seeing the devastation wrought by abuse? If my characters leave the church, they don't just walk away from family and history, they give up all those other good things, the social connection, the inspiration, the courage, the solace, the respite. Can they just walk away from all of that peace of mind, all of those family ties? Can any of them really say, hey, Nana, thanks for suffering through all that oppression and all, but I'm going in a different direction? Can they say that really? No. I mentioned earlier that I'm kind of hard on my characters. I don't give them any opportunity to ignore the soul-killing clergy abuse issue, and yet the answer to should you stay or should you go still stays clouded. People cling to the status quo. It's understandable. Any kind of change in attitude, belief, practice is scary. Cognitive dissonance is a powerful thing. People acknowledge the travesty of abuse and cover-up, but they also rationalize it. They say things like, well, I only go to Mass on Christmas and Easter anyway. Only a small percentage of the clergy are rapists. No way he's a pedo. I would know. They put controls in place now, so it's a non-issue. The worst one I heard was, it was just the one time. I can't help but think how those rationalizations sound to victims. Now, me, the author, I keep pushing the issue with my characters. I'm not going to let them rationalize the problem away. I make it impossible for these lovely young men to look away and not see up close the devastation and heartbreak of lives destroyed by clergy abuse. I make them confront the issue head on and decide how to live their lives. Do they disconnect altogether and lose all those benefits? Is there any religion free from abuse? If they can't stay in the church and they want some benefits of religious practice, they have to practice another way? What does that even look like? I say that like it's easy. In an us versus them world, that involved going over to some other team, like a Giants fan rooting for the Eagles. Naturally, I have my guys give it a shot. They look at other religious practices, and to be honest, it was a lot of fun putting them in places they would never normally go, just to see what would happen. The first time the lads approach a new place, there's complete panic. Danny says, the first weekend I didn't go to Mass felt like I smashed a mirror, walked under a ladder next to a black cat all at once. For Tommy, first day of school, anxiety washes over him. He worries, what if there are things I'm supposed to do or not do? I don't want to look like an idiot. It's one thing not to go to Mass, but it's a totally different thing to go somewhere else. What I wanted for my characters in this book is to face the abuse problem squarely and make rational, mindful decisions about how to live their lives. Not always a comfortable thing, but being uncomfortable isn't always a bad thing. Those small things that make us uncomfortable make us stronger and more resilient. Do they stay or do they go? You have to read the book. I'm Charley Heenan. My book is Danny's Boys. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.